This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Visit our Patreon page and vote for next week's video. Hey guys, so we just got out of the midnight screening of Halloween and we want to talk about it. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm all jacked up on caffeine, let's do this. So Halloween takes place 40 years after the babysitter murders of the original film, and it's the only official sequel to the 1978 film, deleting everything that happened in the other sequels. Which is an interesting choice because while granted some of those movies are garbage, creating a new continuity kinda makes it seem like saying to new fans of the series, watch only these two movies and forget everything else. But in the context of the movie, it makes sense. The idea is Michael went back to the sanitarium after the original film and has stayed there for 40 years. As he's being moved to a different facility, he escapes and goes back to Haddonfield to stalk some more babysitters and haunt Laurie Strode with some more PTSD. For the most part, I thought this movie was pretty good. It does an excellent job at paying homage to John Carpenter's Halloween while still managing to be its own thing. Halloween 2018 is, by the way, the dumbest title they could possibly come up with. You have a movie that's supposed to be an official continuation of Halloween, and you name the movie Halloween as well? Did these people get in a room together and try to come up with the most confusing title possible? Since Halloween 2 apparently never happened, maybe they should have named it Halloween 2? It's not like it's taken or anything. So it's a tribute to the things that made the original Halloween great. One of which is Michael Myers as not just a mindless killer stalking babysitters, but also as a portrayal of pure evil. People refer to Michael as a thing rather than just human. This movie really managed to capture the spirit of John Carpenter's classic, in that the creepiness is 100% here. That feeling that someone's hiding behind the bushes, the sound of Michael Myers breathing while stalking these people, it's all here. I'm not sure if other people were involved in the making of the movie's score, but I know John Carpenter was the main composer, and it shows. The score for this film is fantastic. It builds upon the simple, original score that I won't be able to think about Halloween's music without the new additions. The music adds so much to the atmosphere and that creepy vibe. What I believe this film does remarkably well is mix the elements of 1978 old school slasher horror and 2018 horror. Quite a few scenes still go for the slow burn here and rely on building tension and creepiness. But there's a few more jump scares and I was very happy to see that most were very well executed. This movie understands that jump scares aren't something to be abused and only uses them at the times it needs to. Another aspect is how violence is presented. The original film wasn't really graphically violent, the murders were usually shown in a little more discreet way. Sure, people got stabbed and strangled, but there was never an abundance of blood and the scenes felt very 70s. Halloween 2018 mixes that kind of old school non-elaborate deaths with some really fun gore, which is an aspect I really liked because it's cool to see two ways of showing murder in slasher movies in the same film. Not seeing the actual kill but what happens afterwards is also really effective to let your imagination run wild, but seeing some good old well executed gore is always appreciated. Before the movie, I was kinda worried about what they were gonna do with Laurie Strode's character. Fortunately, it's one of the best aspects of the movie, even if she's basically Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. You can really feel for her because of everything she's been through, and the weird relationship between her and Myers is very compelling. And her arc is believable, because when you witness something like what she has, it messes with you and changes you for life. She really feels like a natural badass in this movie, even though she can also come across as a crazy old lady. But I was really feeling it, and the movie lacks more moments with Laurie, which brings us to the movie's flaws. This entire movie should have been focused on how Laurie is dealing with her trauma and Michael Myers straight up killing people. Unfortunately, it decides to constantly deviate into a cliched teenager subplot that does nothing for the movie and is only semi-relevant during the first half of it. The film could be giving us more about Laurie, but instead it goes on this tangent with Laurie's granddaughter and her friends. I don't know if they added that in because it's like a tribute to the original, so it has to have some teenagers in it or whatever, or if it was just a demographic thing, thinking the film would appeal more to high school students. Whatever, but ultimately, this story should be more about Laurie. This should be her movie. Also, I'd say more than half of the kills in this movie are just people that are in the film to die. There is no other function in the movie for them other than to see them get brutally murdered by Michael Myers. It's a fun time, for sure, but it just becomes a little tiresome when you keep meeting character after character who from the first time they appear on screen, you say, oh, they're dead. Most of the standard horror cliches are here, for sure, and the most annoying one I would say is how stupid these horror movie characters are. Dude, if there's a serial killer on the loose in your small town, don't investigate the strange noise, man. Just stay home, lock your doors, possibly get under your bed, and you'll probably be just fine. Stupid choices get you killed, and a lot of times the characters in this movie act like dumbass characters in a horror movie. There's also quite a bit of comedy in the movie that would have probably worked as individual scenes or in a different context. There's this really funny kid that one of the friends of Laurie's granddaughter is babysitting, and there's a scene that's supposed to be very scary, but it's immediately followed by some funny comment by the kid. What I'm saying is sometimes the movie doesn't understand the emotions it's transmitting, and there are quite a few scenes that just don't work in the context of the movie. I don't know if this is a recent trend, but the last 3 movies we've seen were Venom, The Predator, and Halloween, and they all feel like they have misplaced elements of comedy scattered throughout the film. There's also a scene that kind of gets to a scary high point in the movie, and then it'll cut to 2 cops talking about baguettes, which seems like a scene that could possibly work in a completely different scenario, but this makes the movie seem like it lacks focus, focusing on different storylines and adding comedy that doesn't belong in the movie, when the film really should be focusing on Laurie and Michael Myers. There's also this plot twist around the start of the 3rd act involving Michael's doctor that was completely out of place and a very strange choice. This is by far the worst part of Halloween. It's kind of baffling actually because it's so random and then it's completely discarded like a minute afterwards. It makes no sense at all. But overall, Halloween 2018, not a perfect movie. It's a movie that has many great aspects within it, like Laurie's arc, and seeing Michael Myers kill some people is always interesting for sure. But it just has so many things that weigh it down. A very strange plot twist that makes no sense. It focuses too much on the granddaughter and her teenage problems, and people make very stupid decisions. However, I do think it's a movie that will polarize many fans of the franchise, and I think it's worth watching so you can make up your own damn mind about it. This definitely won't be the last time I watch this movie, and overall I'd say it's a worthy sequel to the Halloween franchise, or to the Halloween original, albeit a very flawed one. Hey there guys, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. This was a little different. We wanted to get a review out to you guys as soon as possible. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for our new video essay coming this week. And yeah, we'll see you then.